All right, Tal'Darim Altar. I actually know this map.
Nice.
What a treat.
This is the GSL version. I think the only differences are like the doodads on the ground. I think could be
Yeah,
wrong.
if there's a one hex ramp or like a one force field ramp, then they make it so that you can't pylon block. But I don't even see any ramps like that, so I'm not sure. This is probably just the original published map for Tal'Darim Altar. I'm not sure what Blizzard changed either. I think there was a destructible rock added to a third base,
Mm.
but I think other than that, it's what you would expect.
I know Drog is pointing to something. I'm not sure what it is though.
I'm actually going to move the camera real quick. There were destructible rocks over here at one point in time.
Okay.
Right over above the grass of the second natural expansion.
Look at that. Your mic's not muted, by the way.
Huh?
Your mic's not muted.
I know. That's why I've been being quiet the whole time.
All right. So this is great little improv commentary here. So we do have the probe scout moving out right now for Ryan. Looks like he's going to be scouting the incorrect position. I'd like to see him grab that Zelnaga as well. Try to catch a possible SCV in transit. Bam. There he goes. So yeah, it's been a pretty interesting series so far. LastShadow is up 2-1, and Ryan fighting here, trying to claw his way back into the series. Definitely, he isn't down and out as of yet.
Well, I think it's interesting that we've only seen the same 6 units in each 3 games. Marine, Marauder, Medevac, Stalker, Sentry, Zealot. That's been it so far from these guys. I did see one Immortal, I think, which died extremely quickly, so not living up to his name. But either way, it's just been basically pure aggression out of these 2 guys with their mass Tier 1 units.
Yeah, neither player really straying too much from the norm, what they've been doing, I don't know, more or less this entire tournament, actually, but I guess it's gotten them to this position, so it's worked thus far. Why fix it if it ain't broke, I guess they would say. Probe is going to trying to be moving right now. I think he's going to be getting in pretty much no problem. That barracks isn't quite finished as of yet. Taking a look back inside of Ryan's base, pretty much the standard, again, with that standard timing on that first assimilator and no second assimilator here, so not getting those DT again. I was really anticipating those DT. I'm really disappointed that it didn't come into play the first game there.
Yeah, that is too bad. I would really just like to see anything else at this point. But I was just going to ask if Ryan was going to go for that gas steal once again, and then I was going to ask you if you noticed that in that last game on match point, LastShadow actually never killed off that second assimilator. He was working off one gas essentially the whole time. Oh, there goes the scouting probe from Ryan. So actually, LastShadow's going to celebrate by building a supply depot over his grave.
Fair enough. And yes, that is correct. I did notice that. And in fact, I believe I was going to mention it, but then we had a bunch of action going on. That definitely played a role into what Ryan was able to do, because he knew that there was one of two things happening. Either he was expanding. Oh my gosh, getting messages in the middle of the stream. That happens all the time. And either that he was going to be expanding, or that he was going to actually be going for a one-base push. So that was definitely very telling. You don't want to leave up that assimilator for too very long.
Surprise, surprise, LastShadow throwing up a second barracks. Ryan still hasn't shown us what he's aiming for yet after the Cybernetics Core, but the fact that he did get his assimilator at a normal time makes me think no DT sneakiness and possibly no Stargate sneakiness. So 6-gate, going to be my guess once again. LastShadow, 3, 4, doesn't matter how many barracks into medevacs.
Yeah, no, it looks like he's going for the exact same build, opening up with that first barracks with the reactor on it for some early game marine defense. And then that second barracks coming down with that tech lab, and we can see right now starting to float a little bit, but let's see if he gets any of those upgrades, because that could drop his resources drastically if he goes for that stim pack right now.
Yep,
or is he going to go for that expo?
Usually he does get the stim pack, but I'm not sure if he's got a different playstyle here on Tal'Darim Altar. It is in the Blizzard ladder map pool now, so I'm sure he is familiar with it, but Ryan back at home dropping gateways number 2, 3, and 4.
Yes, so going to be seeing some aggression, early game aggression. There's that proxy pylon going down at the third natural there. And here comes the push. So we are seeing a 4-gate right now from Ryan. Let's see how effective this is going to be.
This is essentially for all the marbles once again, because if Ryan does lose this game, he is going to lose the series, and LastShadow will be our champion here in the Grand Finals. But what is LastShadow actually doing? I know he has scouted Ryan out. I just took LastShadow vision there for a second, but where is he headed? He's going such a long way. Now he's starting to cut back through the middle. All right, making a little bit more sense, but Ryan is essentially already at his front door, so he might have another base trade situation in which I would have to favor LastShadow just based on past results.
Yeah, no, this is a very dangerous situation, like you just mentioned. Big push coming down from LastShadow. Going to be streaming into the lane. If we could get a sentry, though, for some... Oh, never mind. No, that's not going to work on this map. I don't know what I'm talking about here. So he's actually going to be forced to push back with his forces. He did see that with that probe at the Zelnaga Tower. This is very dangerous. Bunker going down right inside of Ryan's base. This push looks pretty daunting right now.
Yeah, I think LastShadow just hit a mega key timing. He's going to be able to kill whatever he wants for the 20 seconds, maybe even 30 seconds before Ryan's force actually arrives back home, and this looks really bad for Ryan, just losing another pylon there. Force field's going down from the 2 sentries. He managed to warp into the back. He's pulling a lot of probes now. The thing is, he's already done a lot of damage, so even if Ryan does get home with his units in time, this is Nexus actually taking fire now. Even if he does get home in time to stop all this, he's lost a lot of mining time and a couple of probes. There's some good force fields segregating those forces. Always want to do that, at least to get 3 or 4 little free kills. But now with this no mining, that's all the units he's going to have here against LastShadow's remaining 5 Marines and Marauder, and they have no stim yet. Interesting.
Yeah, no stim going down, but he is in a lot of trouble. All that not mining time, the fact that he went for 1 base 4 gate and did no damage, essentially. He wasn't even able to push into the base. That compounded by the fact that we have LastShadow with the Expo 50% of the way finished. He's got 4 bunkers up, so if we see a counter push, it's going to do nothing. Ryan's in a really tough spot right now.
And LastShadow has 10 more harvesters, so Ryan basically can't do what he intended at all. He really needs to switch gears, maybe go into some more macro play. Double expanding is something you'll see players do sometimes when they feel hopeless, and LastShadow's going to walk right past this pylon here, so he knows what Ryan was up to earlier. He really, really needs LastShadow to make some mistakes, and he needs to make all the right decisions, which right now, just moving with these forces makes me think that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's expecting to do right now. Again, we do have 4 bunkers up. All of them filled, in fact. So if these forces move anywhere close to that, he's going to be taking some heavy losses. He's definitely not in the position to push up against that, actually losing some guys he was trying to warp in at that pylon to the left there. And any attempted push is going to be thwarted very quickly. So as you mentioned, we do need to see Ryan kind of switch gears, maybe try to go for an Expo, because he is not about to break that.
I don't know. He's still looks like he's trying to test the waters, getting his zealots in front. I really don't want him to attack. The army value actually is slightly in Ryan's favor if you look at resources alone, but I think with all these SCVs here, he's in good position to stay alive through this attack. So Ryan is backing up now. I'm not sure if he's going to try and do another round of warp-ins or what, but he's definitely not looking like he wants to expand again, which he needs to. I lost your mic. I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. You lost my mic. You can't hear me. So yes, pushing forward with this Reaper, in fact, inside of the main base of Ryan, forcing him to warp in that Stalker and actually pulling some guys off the line. This could be very dangerous right now. The Stalker is going to stop that, though, but still just a little bit more harassment and putting Ryan even further and further behind.
One little benefit, LastShadow hasn't been mining this whole time, that Ryan's been in what In Control likes to call shark mode, where you just show him your units and you're like, am I going to attack? Am I? You don't know. As soon as your SCVs go away, you could be dead, but LastShadow pulling, about 6 to 10 SCVs for that whole time, and it really doesn't matter, though. The income tab showing that he's still doubling Ryan's income in both gas and minerals and harvesters, so Ryan's still just bouncing in and out. I mean, it's never going to look any better than it looks right now, so...
Yeah, no, he definitely needs to come out at the Expo, but honestly, at this point in the game, I think he's a little too far behind to claw his way back in. I don't want to call it quite as of yet, but it's seeming like a really, really tough situation right now. We can see coming out with that hallucination, in fact, so going to be trying to do a little trickery here, bringing up some hallucinated guys, maybe some Phoenixes for scouting, or maybe hallucinating some Colossus. But either way, it's still, he is just so far behind in the army tab. He's going to have a really hard time to get back into this game.
I think if he does get Hallucination finished before all of his forces are dead, it seems actually almost at this point that LastShadow could just unload all these bunkers and roll over this. But force fields, not always, not always the case when you can drop force fields and protect your entire army. But hallucinations, I was going to say, Colossi might be a bad idea, Void Rays would be a bad idea, because he did get that Reaper in there and saw basically none of that tech. But if he spammed Hallucinated Zealots, if you hallucinate a Zealot, it actually makes 2. So you could create like 20 Hallucinated Zealots and just throw them at the line first. But I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. Dark Shrine is coming up now, though, for Ryan.
Yeah, and actually now that I see that coming in and looking at the proxy pylon up north just to the right of LastShadow's base, I'm expecting almost to get some Phoenix hallucinations and warping in some DTs. That could be quite effective. At the same time, though, we do have a medevac making its way on down into Ryan's base. It's filled up with Marines and an SCV, and he's actually going to be free to snipe off quite a bit of probes here. There's nothing back here defending the main base here of Ryan, so a little bit dangerous situation right now. Those Marines could actually do a lot of damage.
He does need to do a quick round of warp-ins. There's actually an SCV brought along for the ride to build a bunker, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get that to finish or not, but if he does, it could be quite bad for Ryan. I think he obviously does have enough forces to kill this drop-off. Unfortunately, he is no longer containing LastShadow as a result, and he is losing some probes at the same time. So finally, the bulk of forces for Ryan are arriving. They are going to be able to cleave up these last few remaining Marines and go back to mining, but there's a hallucinated Phoenix, like you mentioned. The Dark Shrine is complete now, so he could actually potentially do some damage here. He's got 2 orbital commands with 73 energy and 48 energy. Also a 3rd orbital command about to finish over there on the right side of his main. That's a lot of scan energy, and he does have an engineering bay complete already as well, so he could start spamming turrets all over the place too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We do see LastShadow actually killing off a bunch of those bunkers, salvaging those, and looks like he's getting ready to make his push across the board. At the very same time, DT warping into the main, and let's see how much damage he can do. I know he's hard-pressed to come back in this game, but if he can do a bit of damage, it may help him slightly. And here we go, actually spotting that, pulling down with those SCVs. Going to take a few shots from those DT, though, and he's actually going to try to force the liftoff of this orbital command. Those DT can work through those buildings so very quickly, forcing the liftoff there. But here come the forces of LastShadow to deal with this small DT threat.
Yeah, he wants that orbital command to lift just so he doesn't have those scans available anymore, but now this second one in the main of LastShadow does have 80 energy on it. There goes another scan right as he warps in again. Going to lose 2 DTs there. He only has 1 remaining, and even if he kills that engineering bay, it looks like he was trying to gun for. There's another one at the natural for LastShadow, so he actually has plenty of opportunities for detection. One good thing, though, is Ryan spent a lot of money on these 5 DTs, I'm not going to lie, but it did delay a lot of mining from LastShadow, so he wasn't totally killing him on income that whole time. If you look at the natural right now, I could just imagine 2 Psy Storms on that big clump of SCVs, but Ryan's not that lucky. He doesn't have the tech in place or the economy.
Yeah, no, definitely not in the position just now. Again, getting up his expo, working to get that saturated. He is obviously very, very far behind. Taking a look at the Army tab, we can see LastShadow at the 74 supply of Army as opposed to the 42 of Ryan. I mean, a push at any time right now, honestly, I feel like it could be pretty devastating. There's just a lot of Marines and Marauders on the board. No upgrades as of yet. In fact, he doesn't have any upgrades researching. I'm a little surprised. He does have the level 1 that looks like it just did finish, but he doesn't have anything else. A little surprised, though, because he could definitely really start to work on those, especially since he's moving on into his 3rd right now.
And Ryan's still just making 1 DT at a time, trying to be annoying at that 3rd base of LastShadow, but I do believe this turret is going to get up, and all LastShadow really has to do is drop a single bunker over there, loaded up with a couple of Marauders, and he'll be good to go. But Ryan trying it nonetheless. He might be able to kill that SCV and turret before LastShadow realizes, but LastShadow is moving out now with his truckload of units. He is leading supply 136 to 86 right now. His value is through the roof, and he's even throwing in some units we haven't seen yet, like a Hellion and a Raven.
Yes, we do have a drop of Marauders going down inside of the main here of Ryan, going to actually be sniping down this gateway.
Oh, no.
1 DT warping in, though, going to start to go to town on those units. Also, the rest of the forces here streaming on down. This is going to stop the drop, but he did manage to take off 1 gateway, and it actually looks like he's going to get away with that medevac, so I would say that was a successful drop.
Of course, any small victory is still a victory, and LastShadow is going to be arriving at the front door soon with fully upgraded, basically. I don't see any combat shields on these guys, a little surprised at that, but stim, concussive shells, 1.0 weapons. Ryan doesn't have any of that stuff. So
no, yeah, he's definitely, LastShadow's definitely in a really strong spot. Again, starting to work to saturate that 3rd right now. His main is getting pretty close to mine out as well, but this push looks like it's going to be a little scary here. Again, definitely going to be very hard to deal with those medevacs. He's going to have vision of the high ground, going to let him snipe off that assimilator and that pylon if he so chooses to do so. But yeah, there's just not enough forces right now for Ryan to deal with this.
Yep, and the Raven actually has a lot of energy as well for a point defense drone. There go all the stalker shots being zapped away by those lasers from the PDD, and suddenly Ryan is looking very, very slim on unit count. Once these last few go down, this Nexus is going to be powered down in just like 1 second. I do see a couple of Zealots and a DT just melting right there. The Raven providing detection, of course. And the Nexus is naked. Good game, well played. Welcome back to the season? Scene.
Scene. There we go. So there you go. LastShadow does take it. He is the champion here of the first season of the New England StarCraft 2 League. Pretty exciting stuff. Thanks for the co-commentary with me there, Joshy. I appreciate it. That was fun.
No problemo. Drageth asked me if I would like to come on, and I wasn't doing anything on Sunday evening after TSL and before NASL, so it's been a very StarCraft-full day for me. Very glad I get to cast LastShadow once again, returning from retirement basically with a new team. Complexity Ryan, my friend and my teammate. I wish he had done better, but you can't win them all, so that's going to be it for this Best of 5 series for the Grand Finals of the New England StarCraft 2 League. Thanks to Force SC2 Strategy on YouTube for inviting me to come on and cast.
Oh, yeah, right back at you, Josh. It was fun. So I guess that about does it. Any final words for us here, Drogoth?
I just want to thank you both for coming and doing the commentary for today. I know Forrest was busy yesterday, but came in today in expedient time, doing a lot of the casting, doing a very good job. And, of course, Joshy, as a last-minute sub-in, just taking care of business for this finals matchup. Thank you very much, both of you. And make sure to check out both of their YouTube pages, YouTube AskJoshy for Joshua. Yeah, that's your full name. And for Force Strategy Gaming, I do believe, is your website. Is that correct, Force?
Yeah, just we can tell them all to go to Force SC2 Strategy for the YouTube channel there.
All right. And I think we're going to split up these games for YouTube. I did Fraps all of them, so if you didn't catch them live, just check out both of those channels for all the games from the Grand Finals. Thanks again, guys. I'm going to head out and get ready for some NASL viewing.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one, Joshy. Thanks again.
See you later.
Bye-bye.